Today we're sharing a preview of Mode's new visualization system, which will allow you to create more visualizations natively in Mode than ever before. Mode's current charts are simple and easy to use, but we know there is a need for more flexibility and power, and we realize that the best approach would be to offer a new environment that will truly empower visual analysis. This new system will let you create limitless visualizations at any point in your workflow. You can start exploring your data visually without having to know what SQL to write or what visualization you want to create beforehand. This will enable you to discover and iterate on insights even faster. In this video, we'll walk through an overview of our existing visualizations, how this new system will differ, and how this will change your workflow. We're excited to share with you where we are now and where we're headed. Today, when you create a visualization, you first select the chart type that you want. The configuration settings then update according to that choice. In our new visualization system, instead of selecting a chart type and then configuring your chart within those boundaries, you pick the data you want to see first and then decide how you want it rendered. You'll see that instead of an x-axis and y-axis, you now have columns and rows. And instead of a colors drop zone, you now have a mark section where you can configure not only the color of the series, but also the size, text, and detail of that series. This system will allow you to create line charts and bar charts, pivot tables and pie charts, all within a single environment. We'll go through some examples to show you what that may look like. Here, we have some flight data. Let's say we're interested in understanding how the airline industry is doing during the pandemic. That's a pretty broad question, so I'm going to start by first understanding the distribution of my data. For example, how many flights are there per week? I'm going to start with a visualization that has day on the x-axis and the number of flights on the y-axis. In addition to the number of flights, I also want to understand the cancellation rates. What you see here is a faceted visualization that is split to show two rows of distinct information. This is a good start, but it's a little difficult to interpret my data right now, so I'm going to make a few adjustments. First, because cancellation rate is a ratio, I don't want to use bars to represent the series. I can select among several mark type options, but I'm going to go with line. I can also set these fields to be on the same facet, but on different y-axes. Lastly, I want to break down the number of flights by airline. From this visualization, I noticed that the cancellation rate spiked in these 2 days in particular, so I want to dig deeper into that. In order to understand cancellation rates, I need to slice my data. One way I want to look at is why and how many flights were canceled across airlines. I'm going to add cancellation reason to my columns and the airline to my rows. And I'm going to add the total number of flights as text and add that to my text mark drop zone. A quick glance at the values tells me that, outside of the pandemic cancellations, the second biggest cause of cancellation was due to weather. I can also add additional dimensions. Let's say that in addition to the airline, I also want to look at what day of the week it was. I can simply take that field and add it to my visualization. As you can see, we'll be able to build some pretty complex tables. Now that I know most of the non-pandemic related cancellations were due to weather, I want to look into how a delay caused by the weather might affect the delay in other areas. On columns, I'm going to add the total time of weather delays, and on rows, I'm going to add the total time of security delays. This gives me the weather delay on the x-axis and the security delay on the y-axis. Now I'm going to add the state to my colors drop zone. Immediately I can see that Texas had a lot of delays caused by the weather, but that their security delays were much lower. On the flip side, Maryland had very few weather delays, but their security seems to be struggling a bit over there. Overall, by looking at this scatter plot, I can conclude that there isn't really a strong linear relationship between the weather and how that affects the security process. If I decide I want to share this visualization with my stakeholders on a dashboard, I may want to include additional metrics that are also relevant. For example, I can add the distance that flights traveled to the details drop zone, change the aggregation to average, and now the average flight distance for each state is available as a metric in the tooltip. We just walked through some discrete features that our new visualization system can power, but our vision is much broader than that. Alongside our existing chart type offerings, we want to provide a powerful and flexible visualization system that enables you to display your data exactly the way you want it. We hope that this will not only help you build visualizations that best showcase your findings, but will also become a tool for you to understand your data during the exploratory analysis phase. We're still in the middle of development, but this is the direction that we're headed in, and we're excited to bring you along the journey. Finally, we'd love to hear about what visualization needs your team has. To share, fill out our survey and let us know your feedback.